Have you ever had your $300,000 tractor towed in the middle of harvest season because an HOA president thought it was too ugly for the neighborhood view? That happened to me. And she had no idea that not only was that land outside her jurisdiction, but it was also leased to the state, and I was the one leasing it. When she ordered my equipment removed, she didn't just mess with a farmer, she disrupted a federal operation. Let me take you back to where this all began, right between the cornrows and a certain Karen's high horse. I've lived on the edge of this little HOA-managed suburban enclave for almost 10 years. My property borders their community, and for the most part, we've maintained our distance. I run my farm. They do their barbecues and book clubs. It was peaceful enough until Karen became the HOA president. Once she got a taste of authority, it was like handing a taser to a toddler. She was issuing citations like candy. It started with complaints about my roosters, then my grain silos. But things escalated during harvest season. I had just started on my north field, 160 acres of state-leased cropland wrapped like a horseshoe around the HOA's backyard. That land wasn't just mine to farm for profit. It was contracted through the state for strategic food supply. When harvest time comes, it's go time. No delays. That morning, I was piloting my combine at sunrise, windows cracked, humming along to Johnny Cash. I remember thinking, maybe this year Karen will let it slide. She didn't. By day 2, she was at the property line with her clipboard, glaring like she was about to storm the beaches of Normandy. I stepped out of the cab and waved. She didn't wave back. She yelled that I was in violation of communal peace standards, and my machinery was causing a disruptive visual experience. I nearly choked on my coffee. I reminded her, politely, as I had several times, that this wasn't HOA property. This was state-leased farmland governed by county and federal agricultural regulations. She snapped back. It's within our visual domain. Like she had magical powers over things she could see. That night, I locked up the equipment and went inside, figuring she'd just write a report, send out another passive-aggressive flyer, and move on. I even joked about it to my neighbor Dave, who lives within the HOA and loathes every meeting he's ever attended. The next morning, my combine was gone. Not moved. Gone. The gravel was bare except for fresh tire tracks. My first thought was the state had taken it for inspection, but they would have called. No missed calls. Then I saw a slip of paper taped to the barn. Towed. Abandoned machinery. Reported by HOA's safety oversight. I thought it was a joke. But no. Karen had actually convinced a local towing outfit to haul off a 12-ton combine during a scheduled state harvest window. That wasn't just bold. That was ignorant on a level I couldn't comprehend. But here's the kicker. That machine wasn't just my equipment. It was listed as part of an active federal food security operation. Removing it without clearance? That triggered an immediate multi-agency investigation. By noon, I had a state inspector, a sheriff's deputy, and a compliance officer on site. Karen came marching down in her neon orange windbreaker like she was leading a protest march. She had no clue the clipboard man wasn't here to inspect my tractor. He was here to investigate her. "Ma'am," the inspector said, "can you explain why you authorized a third-party tow service to remove a state-contracted machine from operational farmland?" Karen puffed up. "It was parked near our community line. It was a nuisance." "Visual range is not legal jurisdiction," he replied, not even pretending to hide his amusement. Then I stepped in. I leased that land. All 160 acres. Under contract for 6 years. She blinked. Her face turned red, then purple, then a color I don't think has a name. The inspector calmly informed her that her actions were being recorded in an official report to the HOA legal team and the state attorney's office. But oh, Karen wasn't done yet. 2 days later, the inspector returned with backup. A white SUV with the state seal pulled up beside another nondescript vehicle. Out stepped a man in a suit with a badge from the State Department of Infrastructure Integrity. That's a thing, apparently. He handed me a folder with documents, property line surveys, violation reports, even a screenshot of a community-wide email Karen sent bragging about her decisive action. "Where did you get this?" I asked. "Anonymous tip from an HOA member. We received 7, he smirked. Karen had made enemies. The email included a photo of my tractor mid-tow and the line. "This will show him who runs this neighborhood." They asked me to walk them to the property line. We measured 74 feet from the HOA boundary, squarely in state territory. Then Karen appeared again, flailing her arms. She hadn't seen the SUVs until she was nearly upon us. "What's going on here?" she snapped. "We're investigating interference with state-managed agriculture," the agent replied. "You must be Karen." "President Karen." "HOA president," she corrected. He raised an eyebrow. "Then you'll want to be very careful with what you say next." She tried to bluster. "It was abandoned. We had every right." He handed her the email. Color drained from her face. "That was a private community memo, sent to 60 households, forwarded to state authorities. Very admissible." She turned on me. "You baited us by parking my combine on my land during state operations? Diabolical, I know." The agent continued. "Miss Karen, your actions have triggered a Level 2 investigation under Section 4B of the Agricultural Infrastructure Protection Act. Possible charges include unauthorized tampering and operational interference." Her clipboard fell from her hands. Later that day, I remembered my combine had a dash cam. I uploaded the footage, including audio of Karen directing the tow truck and posing beside it. The state was thrilled. They also discovered that the tow company Karen used wasn't licensed for agricultural recovery. No permits, no insurance, just a buddy of hers who towed junkers from parking lots. That meant additional violations. The next day, the sheriff served her with a citation and a request for a formal statement. Word spread like wildfire. Residents stopped by to shake my hand. One brought a pie. Karen stopped showing her face. Her husband started walking the dog instead. But she wasn't done. Oh no. 3 days later, I got a letter from a local law office. Karen accused me of visual degradation, emotional distress, and hostile tractor placement. She demanded I cease operations within 500 feet of the HOA. I laughed, took it straight to the AG compliance officer. "She really sent this?" he said. "Yep. She's playing legal Mad Libs." The state fired back with a cease and desist. Then came the real kicker. Karen's attorney filed an actual lawsuit. It was tossed immediately by the regional judge, a man I had worked with on zoning reform. He not only dismissed the case, he issued a formal statement warning Karen against any further legal action until she spoke with someone who understood zoning law. Her lawyer quit on the spot. Then the HOA board started looking into her expenses. Turns out she reimbursed herself from the HOA emergency fund to pay the tow company. She'd also installed an 8-foot concrete wall around her yard using HOA money. They called a special meeting. I wasn't invited, but I heard every word. Yelling. Accusations. Then Steve, the neighbor from 2 houses down, said, "Call a vote." Karen was removed that night. Her name vanished from the HOA website. Flyers went out. Special election next month. But Karen wasn't done. She tried to stage a comeback with a Fall Harmony Festival. It was a full-blown PR stunt. Food trucks, hayrides, a band. She forgot one thing. The festival was set to take place on the HOA green, accessible only by tractorway. That's right. My road. I had bought it months earlier. Legally, I owned the only access route. They never asked me for permission. So, I filed a temporary restriction notice for agricultural use that weekend. All commercial vehicles needed permits. Permits they had to get from me. I didn't deny them. I just didn't approve them in time. Vendors were turned away. Karen's Grand Festival had a single bounce house and no food. Meanwhile, 200 feet away, I hosted my own event. Hayrides, brisket, pony rides. Everyone came, even the sheriff. Karen tried to enter my event. She was intercepted. I had filed a private trespass notice. Signed. Legal. Enforced. She was turned away. The neighborhood had chosen sides. Her house went up for sale. She took a loss. The gate I installed at Tractorway was activated. Everyone else received access codes. She didn't. She was forced to use the long way out, a rutted road that added 20 minutes to her commute. The cherry on top? I commissioned a metal artist to build a tractor-shaped mailbox and planted it right at the entrance with a sign, Tractorway Mail Stop. It became a local landmark. Eventually, she moved. No fanfare. No farewell. She just drove away. The neighborhood healed. Steve became HOA president. Someone brought a tractor-shaped cake to the next potluck. And me? I leaned on my fence that night, looking at the stars, listening to the wind through the corn. Karen had tried to erase me, but I just kept planting. And now every road she once claimed power over led her right out of the story.